Serenity Jones was born on the outskirts of a bustling city, in a house that often felt colder inside than the frost-covered streets outside. Her family was large, loud, and chaotic, but not in a way that made her feel loved or noticed. Her parents were consumed by their struggles, her father with the bottle, and her mother with a string of dead-end jobs that barely kept the lights on. Serenity, the middle child of five, was a ghost in her own home. Her older siblings were the achievers, receiving whatever scraps of praise their parents had to give. The younger ones were the troublemakers, demanding constant attention. Serenity was left in the cracks, forgotten in the shuffle. No one noticed when her shoes wore thin, her grades dropped, or when she stopped coming home altogether. By the age of 13, she had learned how to fend for herself. She roamed the streets, where she met a group of kids who understood her in ways her family never did. They introduced her to the world of petty crime, shoplifting food to eat, picking pockets for a few coins. At first, it was about survival, but soon it became something more. Serenity discovered a sense of power in the act of taking. She could control her destiny, if only for a moment. The thrill of outsmarting security guards or slipping away unnoticed filled the void her family had left. By 16, she was a skilled thief, working her way into a local crew led by a charismatic older man named Rafe. Rafe saw potential in Serenity. He taught her the art of manipulation, the value of planning, and the importance of loyalty, to him at least. Under his guidance, her crimes became more elaborate, breaking into luxury homes, running cons, even smuggling small shipments for local gangs. She was careful, calculated, and most importantly, invisible. A ghost, just as she'd been at home. But invisibility had its costs. Serenity often wondered what it would feel like to be seen for something good, to be wanted for more than what she could steal. Yet every time the thought crossed her mind, she'd bury it beneath layers of armor. Love, she decided, was a vulnerability she couldn't afford. By her mid-20s, Serenity was a name whispered in criminal circles. She was no longer just surviving. She was thriving, orchestrating heists that made headlines without leaving a trace. The city was her playground, her empire built on shadows. Yet deep down, Serenity remained that neglected girl, longing for someone to look her in the eyes and truly see her. One night, after pulling off her most daring job yet, she stood on the rooftop of a skyscraper, watching the city lights twinkle like stars. For the first time, she felt something close to peace, but it was fleeting. The ghosts of her past, the scars of neglect, and the crimes she'd committed weighed heavily on her soul. She knew she could never go back to the girl she might have been, nor could she escape the woman she'd become. In the end, Serenity realized that her life would always be lived in the shadows. But in those shadows, she found a strange kind of freedom, a place where she could write her own story, even if the world would never understand it.